good morning Vietnam. I was told to say that. MRN 61 morning. I'll be sexist. 934 on the police car, 215094. They usually have two numbers. The easier one is a 3-digit, and then they have like a 5-digit one that's, you know, on different corners of the car, of a police car. Anyway, somewhere along the line I was kind of trained to do that invisibly without pay or benefits. It's hard to explain. I experienced something really bizarre. It's way, way, way over the top, worse than you can ever imagine. I'm not exaggerating, but of course anyone who experiences something totally strange would know, like, people will just think I'm making it, like, I'm not making it up, I'm not exaggerating, and so forth and so on. So anyway, but part of the process of sort of moving from phase to phase of whatever it was involved, like, all of a sudden being able to identify makes and models of every car, license plates, even like purple baseball cap kind of pointed up on this lady with a blue IKEA bag on her right shoulder, left hand, some sort of paper package, you know, almost looks like a pad, or at first it looked like cigarettes, but it wasn't. Walking west on the south side of Walnut, past Doc Martens and the beer garden. So, and near her, or in front of her, is someone with a purple button-up, sort of Oxford-like shirt, if you will. So I would identify people at rapid speed. I would identify cars, serial numbers on cars, trucks, you know, Department of Transportation, or DOT numbers, DOT, D period, O period, T period. It's sort of, I was driven crazy is basically, but I wasn't a crazy person. I'm not a crazy person, but I know someone was driving me crazy. Instead of someone coming out of the woodwork and saying, we know you were set up very badly, it's really bad. No one has the balls to say, and I wish you knew like how it worked. It would at least help a little bit. And, you know, maybe if you are willing, we could harbor you here, or maybe there's a way to find a job in another state and it won't be so bad. Forget Florida, that's a total mess. Or wherever you have relatives or live, it's possible this network could be activated. What they do is harassment. Their whole lives are harassment. They're trained to harass. They grew up being conditioned to harass. And they can unleash these people upon a person. And those people don't even need to know you personally. They can just assume something about you, and it might be totally untrue. We have a lot of family lineages from the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder all the way to the top. And they will defend each other, and they will defend each other and do the bidding of their family lineage, even if they're not winning within their own family lineage. So I think that's interesting, because it's like, wouldn't you be kind of ticked off if someone way up in your lineage had billions of dollars and you're down here like scraping by at a, you know, McDonald's? Wouldn't you be pissed off? You don't want your paycheck to go to the man without, you know what I mean? Like, or you don't want to work for the man and have to pay high bills, low pay, that kind of thing. So anyway, that's just the little thing there. But along the way, one of the phases of my experience involved recognizing the makes and models of cars, identifying people on the street, you know, arm swing here on Maroon, Champion or Under Armour. It's Under Armour shirt. Going out of, technically it's the northeast corner of Rittenhouse Square, but of the intersection, it's the southwest corner of the intersection of 18th and Walnut. So anyway, this little thing there. Thankfully, I can use my GoPro today. My battery fizzled out last night, or it was early evening-ish, like late afternoon, early evening, if you will. I guess it was real afternoon-ish. So I walked all the way down to Ray Street Pier and decided to walk the extent of Ray Street Pier and back. There were some men, you know, at the entryway to Ray Street Pier, and they were there to work on, fix, or what have you. To work on, I guess, there's this sort of roller gate thing that they close at sunset, and then they open that at sunrise, and that's, you know, the Ray Street Pier is open, you know, during hours of sunlight, if you will. So, but upon approach, the guys kind of moved into action, and for a split second, like, you kind of know logically better, but for a split second it's like, oh, are they having to close the pier for some reason? It was a little bit cloudy, and I was like, are they working on something or what's going on? But off in the distance, like further back in on the pier, because it has two, you can go down and around, or you can go this way, and I saw a guy reading a book and sitting on a bench further in on the sort of lower side, on the southern side of the pier. The pier is east-west, so it points to New Jersey, which is east, and the west is the entry point off of Delaware Avenue or Columbus Boulevard. Anyway, I walked in because I saw someone. I'm like, well, the pier's open because I can see that guy, and then I saw like one or two other people off in the distance. So I'll walk in, even though these guys kind of move their bodies as if it were closed. Sometimes that happens on purpose, sometimes it doesn't. It's hard to tell or prove. It's really hard to prove. You can kind of tell if people are messing around, but anyway, we're not allowed to, we're not allowed to assume anything. So I walk out there, head home back. As I'm looking at the bridge, I notice like raindrops falling around the Ben Franklin Bridge on the walk back towards the entry exit. And I was like, well, it's not raining in front of me. I think I said it in the video. There's no rain on the boardwalk. There's no, or the pier. I looked around, I was like, maybe they power washed the Ben Franklin Bridge. And it's just like drips falling off of it, like it's still drying off. But it was too rain-like innate, like it was too much. And it was also on the sides of the bridge. Like it was around the bridge, under the bridge. And I was like, it doesn't make total sense. That it's just power washing droplets or what have you. So anyway, all of a sudden the battery fizzles just then. So I open my GoPro and try to wiggle out the battery. It has a blue tab and a little tab on it to pull it out. The tab broke. I was like, ah. So I tried to wiggle it out differently. It was completely stuck. I couldn't get it out. And I struggled and struggled, and while I was sitting there kind of trying to pull it out, I thought to myself, or the ideas were circling in the air of, what if the whole thing was orchestrated and they decided to drown you? They locked the pier, the people on the pier were set and orchestrated to be there to begin with. I would normally not think this way, but it has to do with what happened way back in 2011, the harassment I've experienced since. And there's always this idea of like, what if people are waiting for the right moment, or they're trying to perfect some sort of staged event or occurrence? And who in the industry of news or justice is salivating at the bit to have some sort of big story that could raise them up the ranks? And how far would they go? Are they really disturbing, dark people who would go that far? What happened to me was so bizarre that I would kind of buy it. I don't think I'm in, complete danger now. But then other people are like, well, that it could like raise your confidence. You feel okay now. That's when they strike. But it's like, I can't even imagine why this thing started to begin with. So anyway, point being, I decided after struggling for a while with that battery to just, pick up everything, go outside of the pier area, outside of the fencing that they were working on. I still tried to get the battery loose, couldn't do it, so I finally just packed up and walked home. So that's the story on that.